Hey guys, Elementz here, and I just want to talk to you about something that's been, I suppose, troubling me for a long while, and it's why it sucks to be a good guy in League of Legends solo queue. And you might think, I'm just, Elementz whining again. Oh, woe was Elementz, but hear me out, before you judge. Um, so basically, here's the formula that I kind of see happen to everybody in solo queue. Happens to me, happens to my friends. I've talked about it. And you start out, you're trying, right? You go and you're like, it's ranked, let's go. Time to grind up some LP, time to get some elo, time to do good things, be positive. You go in trying hard, right? And you might win, a few games, might have a good day, might have a bad day. But then, for the most part, people in your game will troll. And it might not be your whole team. It might be one person, but I'd say general statistics for most games played in solo queue ranked, people are trolling and people are doing things that aren't helping you win 100%. And again, I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying every single game, but this is obviously an issue that comes up, and no one can deny this. Not Riot, not any of us, not anyone in any region, because that's just video games and everyone likes to troll. But in ranked, it seems to be this issue where it's cooler to troll than to try. And people who go into solo queue thinking, I'm going to try, I'm going to do this hard, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to try to, do my best. When you get trolled when you're trying, it pretty much just makes you rage. It's like here is trying, and here is rage, and they just meet. They headbutt you, like they go together like milk and cookies. And I really think they go together like that because it's you're putting yourself out there. You're taking a step forward. You're putting yourself in a position where you're like, I want to try, I want to be competitive, and to lose when you're trying to do something, trying to accomplish a goal is very frustrating. And that applies to anything, not just League of Legends. Anytime you try to assert yourself at a certain task or whatever is in front of you, if you fail or you mess up or someone prevents you from accomplishing that, it leads to frustration, which again leads to raging. So what happens when you rage? You don't try as hard. You might not care about your teammates anymore. You might start flaming in chat. You might start flaming in all chat. You might, go AFK. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do when you rage. But all across the board, it's bad. And again, I'm guilty of this. I'm not saying I'm above this. I'm just saying that this is the trend. I notice it happens. And we're just trying to get to the bottom of how to fix this. So basically, you're raging. You're upset. And what happens? You start trolling. Rage grows directly into trolling. Like now, raging and trolling, they mash together too. Because when you're upset, you're not going to be playing your best. You're not trying anymore. You're trying to hinder someone else's experience. You're not playing the game, and that directly affects the 4 other teammates on your team. And that is kind of a huge issue with League of Legends. I think that's the biggest issue with League of Legends is comes right down to solo queue from the start. I mean, if people are allowed to get away with all that, unnecessary bullshit that comes with solo queue, people are going to get upset. People are going to get, they're not going to be happy, and they're going to start raging, and then, trolls just breed more trolls. If you can't beat them, you may as well join them. And I just don't get why North American solo queue. Granted, I think most solo queue, but I'm pretty sure North America is like taking the cake in terms of trolling here. But it essentially, you go into a game thinking it's like, well, why do I want to be a good guy now? Well, if I got trolled the last 3 games in a row when I was trying my best to win, why would I go into my 4th game thinking, hey, let's go team, let's go. We're gonna be super positive. You're probably gonna be a little upset. You might not be trolling it. You might go in thinking, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna pick whatever. Like I'll just fill. I don't even care what position I play. I don't even care. You go in, you think that, and you're like, oh, look at this. I'll take these stupid masteries, and it just keeps going from there. And again, why do you want to be the good guy? Why do you want to be the good guy if everyone's just going to take a big shit on you when you try? And that's honestly why I think we have so many people who rage, so many trolls, so many people who just don't seem to understand what ranked is about, because there's just so much anger and frustration in ranked, because it's supposed to be the place where it's like, okay guys, normals is just supposed to be for fun, mess around, like that's the time you experiment with new champions, that's the time you play with your friends, that's the time it's like, those are supposed to be the games that don't count for anything, right? That's really what normals stand for, is that these don't count other than for experience and, influence points. And then ranked comes around and you're like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to try. It's going to have my rating, it's going to have this. But when it's such a broad team game and you have to rely on your teammates to win the game. I mean, everyone knows there's times where you've just dominated a lane and you're like, I'm unstoppable, and you come out flying, and then all the other lanes lost, and you're just like, well, you can't win. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you're fed enough where you can pull through. Everyone else is feeding, but it again goes back to that point. It's like you're trying so hard, and then that little thing happens, and you just snap. And it's like you lose all your momentum, you lose your drive to win. And honestly, I think this is why so many people struggle with solo queue in just general, is because of the frustrations that come with trying to be a person who's positive and trying to be a person who goes into ranked, with a good level head. You're most likely going to come out frustrated, that you're most likely not going to enjoy the game as much, and you're most likely going to end up trolling just the same, because it's just what happens, and that's just the truth. I mean, you can try your hardest to ignore it, and ignore the flames and ignore anything else that comes at you, and you know what? You can do it for a long time. But I've seen everybody, no matter what, lose it at somebody at one point, even the most passive guys. And how do we fix it, though? What are your ideas? I want to know what you guys think. How do we fix this? Do we need um, a bigger incentive in ranked? Do we need more bans coming out? Do we need does Riot need to create like a whole league system for us where it's governed by the players and respected individuals in the community, or like mods or something, like on Reddit, you can volunteer to do it, and they can control these leagues similar to what they had in old school Warcraft 3 style Dota. You could join leagues, and if you trolled, you're banned instantly. There was no ifs, buts, anything. You trolled, banned. You had to send in an appeal to get back into the league to play again. There was no messing around in that at all. Even if you DC'd a couple too many times, it was like, you're out. But even then, it's like, if you're caught trolling or reported for something, why do they even ban people from ranked? I feel like they should just not ban people from ranked. They should just ban people from ranked. I don't know if I messed that up. Anyways, I'm just going to continue. um, they should just be banning people from ranked, even more so. So you have a ban, like your normal ban on League of Legends, that you get depending on how severe your case was. Well, what if for all the minor flaming and refusing to communicate reports and all these other minor reports that are really, in the grand scheme of things, the most toxic things are like negative attitude and personal harassment on people like that. Like Riot's gonna take it, or like racial profanity. Riot's obviously gonna drop the hammer on those. But what about all these like little there's all that like unskilled and what's another good one? I can't think right now. But there's a whole bunch of there's like 8 or 9 reports you can choose from. Well, what if those reports counted towards your ranked? More so than your overall standing in the league. What if that added up, and over time, or depending on how many times you got reported for that, it would kick you from ranked for X amount of days, and it wouldn't stop you from playing league. It would just be like, you can't play in ranked anymore. There needs to be something saying that ranked is for serious people only. Ranked is for people who only want to try. Ranked is for people who are going to, be positive and try to be competitive. And especially when Riot is, hosting the biggest esport of all time, I think it really should start in ranked. If you want people to grow up and you want people to start treating the community and really just coming together and being a better community. I think it has to start where everyone starts, and it's your first ranked game. Your first ranked game, the tone should be set. That this isn't a place where you dick around, you try a champion for the first time, in ranked, you never played it before, or you try, a brand new role. Those should be already done. Ranked should be taken more seriously, and it really does bother me that no one really thinks that way. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know. Um, what you guys think, what we could do to try to fix it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm out. Peace.